Assalamualaikum and good day. So this is group 13 presentation for assignment 1 for food chemistry and technology courses. So our case study focuses on Lembaga Cocoa Malaysia, or it specifically known as a Malaysian Cocoa Board. And for Kota Samarahan branches, it is a Cocoa Research and Development Centre. So this institute is a government agency that is responsible from the cultivation of the cocoa trees until the downstream of quality certification. So it was established under the Act of Parliament 343 in 1998 with main objective to develop a cocoa industry in Malaysia to be well incorporated and competitive in a global market. So in Kota Samarahan branches, even though it is a research and development center, they still produce a wide range of products covering from the food products until cosmetic products. For example, in food products, they have chocolate blocks, cocoa powder, cocoa butter, chocolate milk drinks, and for the cosmetic products, it has cocoa-based moisturizing cream and also cocoa food cream. So the specific products for our case study is chocolate blocks. So the chocolate blocks are mainly produced to be used by consumers, either by eating it directly or used by bakers, for example, for commercial purposes. So these chocolate blocks production involving in various stages, starting from the fermentation until the chocolate manufacturing itself. So this process begins with drying of cocoa beans under the sunlight for undergo the fermentation in wooden box. So this process is to developing the flavor and reducing the bitterness itself. So after that, the process will follow up with roasting and also grinding the dried and fermented beans. So usually, roasting, the dried beans are usually roasting at 110 degrees Celsius and also 160 degrees Celsius. That will help enhancing the chocolate flavor itself, and also it will be grinded into a fine paste. So after that, lastly, the chocolate paste itself will be pressed and also separating the cocoa butter from the solids. So the butter will be recombined with sugar and also cooked at temperature between 60 degrees Celsius and also 90 degrees Celsius. So this production will enhance the texture and also flavor. Following the tempering to ensure the proper crystallization of the cocoa butter. However, despite proper measuring by the agency itself, Malaysia is a tropical climate weather which poses challenges making the chocolate blocks products to introduce towards chemical degradation, for example, like lipid oxidation. So the next presenter will present more about this lipid oxidation.
Moving on to the chemical issue, one specific chemical or physical chemical issue that affects product quality or stability is lipid oxidation in chocolate. It is a major cause of quality deterioration in fat-containing food like chocolates, which changes the quality characteristics of food. It leads to rancidity and off flavors. According to a research, cocoa beans contain 33 to 62% of cocoa butter, which is prone to oxidation due to the presence of unsaturated fatty acids. The higher the degree of unsaturation, the greater the instability, which make them more reactive and susceptible to oxidation. So why is this issue important? First, because it gives implication on flavors by causing unpleasant flavors. It will produce rancid odors and off flavors, which can be described as painty, cardboard-like, or fishy. Besides, chocolate can also develop waxy or soapy notes, which will reduce consumer acceptance by 60 to 80%. When lipid oxidation occurs, unsaturated fatty acids will react with oxygen to form lipid hydroperoxide, which will then degrade into small and volatile molecules like aldehyde and ketones. So these molecules are the ones that are responsible for the off flavors and rancidity of chocolates. Next, lipid oxidation in chocolate will give implication on nutrition. So chocolate is a rich source of dietary polyphenolics, which have proposed salutogenic effect, including neuroprotective, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and cardioprotective abilities, especially in darker varieties of chocolate. However, the fats in chocolate are susceptible to oxidation during processing and storage. For example, there are fat-soluble nutrients in chocolate like tocopherols or vitamin E and polyphenolic antioxidants. So the loss of these nutrients will accelerate rancidity and reduces the nutritional benefits of chocolates. Lastly, lipid oxidation in chocolate will give implication on the shelf life by shortening the shelf life of chocolates. Peroxide value is an indicator to predict the secondary shelf life of chocolates. Throughout the storage, the fat and oil content should not exceed 10 MEQ active oxygen per kg as established by AOAC 2003 peroxide value determination. The peroxide value will rise over the storage time, which indicates progressive oxidation. So when oxidation increases, the shelf life of chocolate is reduced. Besides, the unsaturated fats in chocolate is also susceptible to lipid oxidation. It will degrade the chocolate faster than the natural antioxidant can protect it, which leads to a shorter shelf life. The formation of secondary volatile molecules will also increase the rancidity of chocolates and reduce its nutrition value, which leads to decreased shelf life.
Next, I will explain the underlying chemical reaction of lipid oxidation. Lipid oxidation follows a free radical chain reaction known as autooxidation. It has three stages known as initiation, propagation, and also termination. The oxidation process begins with the formation of lipid and hydrogen radical by extracting a hydrogen atom from unsaturated fatty acid. This step must be catalyzed by external factors which are heat, light, or trace metal ions such as iron or copper. In the next steps, which are propagation, lipid radical quickly react with the oxygen from the air to form a lipid peroxyl radical. Then, the reaction is sustained by reacting lipid peroxyl radical with another lipid to produce lipid hydroperoxides. Lastly, the termination step. In order to slow down the reaction, two radicals must be combined to form a non-radical product. In cocoa, natural antioxidants which are polyphenols and tocophenols are used to terminate the reaction. This reaction can be done by donating hydrogen atom to lipid peroxyl radical forming lipid hydroperoxide. Once we get the lipid hydroperoxides, if it exposed to the catalyst, which are the heat and trace metal ion, it will decompose via beta-Cis reaction forming secondary oxidation such as aldehyde, ketone, and alcohol that are responsible for the rancid and undesirable of flavors in chocolate. There are several factors that influence the lipid oxidation. Firstly, temperature. A high temperature will accelerate lipid oxidation by increasing oxygen diffusion and lipid reactivity. Next, moisture. We have three types of water activity which are low, moderate, and high. Low water activity will speed up the reaction because metal ion become more active. Next, moderate water activity. Oxidation slows down because oxygen movement is reduced as a thin layer covering up the metal ions. High water activity. The oxidation rate increases again because metal dissolve and move easily. Also, the oxygen can enter quickly. Hydrolytic rancidity will occur, producing free fatty acid. For the pH, a lower pH will slow down lipid oxidation by reducing metal ion activity, while higher pH increase oxidation by enhancing metal catalyzed reactions. Lastly, packaging. A proper packaging will protect chocolate from oxygen, light, and moisture, thereby reducing lipid oxidation and improving shelf life. By using aluminum foils, it will significantly limit oxygen availability. Next, to protect from light, opaque or metallized packaging materials will be used to prevent photo-oxidation. Lastly, using packaging materials with low water vapor permeability for maintaining stable water activity.
For technological solution, we came up with two main ideas. The first one is by using antioxidants such as essential oils. Essential oils have antioxidant and antibacterial properties that can improve flavor and aroma in foods. Studies show that chocolates containing essential oils remain oxidatively stable for 60 to 90 days. Although their effectiveness also depends on the type of oil used, its concentration, and also the storage temperature. Another approach to prevent lipid oxidation in chocolate is the use of active packaging. Active packaging contains antioxidant compounds that interact with the surrounding environment to protect the product. These compounds can remove oxygen, absorb UV light, or neutralize free radicals. Antioxidants can be incorporated into packaging through sachets, surface coatings, or directly into the packaging material. This method helps reduce fat oxidation, prevent rancidity, and maintain the overall quality of chocolate during storage. For the regulatory and quality considerations, we make sure the solutions proposed is aligned with food safety and labeling requirements. In Malaysia, the use of antioxidants in chocolate must follow the Food Regulations 1985, where only permitted antioxidants listed in the 10th schedule are allowed and used within specified limits. According to Regulation 11 under Part 4 on labeling, any food containing additives must clearly state their presence on the product label. This is done using a declaration such as contains permitted antioxidant. If the product contains more than one ingredient, all ingredients must be listed in descending order by weight. These labeling requirements ensure transparency, allow consumers to make informed choices, and ensure compliance with both Malaysian regulations and also International Codex Alimentarius standards. Although active packaging is not specifically mentioned in the Malaysian Food Regulations 1985, it is allowed under Part 6, which governs food packaging. Packaging materials must be safe, non-toxic, and must not contaminate food or negatively affect product quality. This allows the use of active packaging technologies such as oxygen barrier or oxygen scavenging systems, as long as food safety requirements are met. Overall, this ensures regulatory compliance while maintaining chocolate quality and also extend shelf life.
So the last part of our presentation is about evaluation strategy. So the first proposed method by our group is validating shelf life stability. So it is recommended for Malaysian Cocoa Board itself to implement it and also follow the accelerated shelf life testing (ASLT) for predicting the shelf life of the chocolate box and also the other products by Malaysian Cocoa Board itself. So for example, a study conducted by Hidayati et al. On 2022 shows that the shelf life of instant chocolate is 281 days at 30 degrees Celsius and also 240 days at 40 degrees Celsius, and lastly is 113 days at 50 degrees Celsius by using the ASLT for involving the storing of chocolates at various temperatures to see the accelerated degradation of chocolate itself. So ASLT can help in providing a rapid prediction of stability of the chocolate block itself with elevated parameter from the stress condition that is stimulated from the tropical weather of our country, for example like temperature. However, the effectiveness of ASLT it can be influenced by the other factors like packaging materials and also the microbial growth that will affect the degradation of the product itself. That's why the second one is about packaging and also monitoring. So for the packaging implementation, the evaluation should focus more on the performance of oxygen scavenging systems. So it is shown that the first good packaging is vacuum packaging. So this is a great example of packaging because it is primarily involved removing the air from the packaging for reducing the oxidation and also preventing the microbial growth, and also directly enhancing the shelf life of the chocolate blocks. So another alternative packaging method is by using modified atmosphere packaging (MAP), where it involving adjusting the gases within the package so that to create an optimal environmental condition for the chocolate to preventing the oxidation and also extending the shelf life of the chocolate box itself. So, however, lastly, a routine testing of the packaging materials and also the active compounds should be conducted so that it can provide a holistic view of the chocolate box shelf life extension. And lastly, as just discussed, all of these quality checks and monitoring should be aligned with the regulatory standard of the food regulations, especially in the amount of antioxidant that does not exceed the limits that specified in the standard. So it is also should be noted that the product labeling should be added all the antioxidants and clearly declared to maintain the standard with regulation 11, so that from this recommendation plan, Malaysian Cocoa Board hopefully can successfully solve the problems of lipid oxidation challenges and aligning with the standard food safety and also regulation. Thank you.